Tensura X Gate. Thus the JSDF fought their X How a Realist Hero Rebuild the Kingdom by NoruSensei. Prologue 2 Rimuru Pov. There was something that I forgot to mention. After 2 years after the Great Tenma War, Milim often visits Tempest just to play around with Ramirez and Veldora at the labyrinth. She often comes with Gaia and Dino. Most of the times when Milim plays here, Frey soon after follows after her few hours later just to scold both Milim and Dino for neglecting their duties, especially Milim. As for Chloe, after the Great Tenma War, she stayed at Tempest. Chloe again, one day said to me that she loves me. Seal San told me that Chloe went into endless loop just to save me. I personally said yes to it, but when marriage was brought up, Chloe refused, saying that being on my side is already enough. I was happy about it, but I again asked Chloe if she was sure. "Nay Chloe, are you really sure you don't want us to get married?" I asked in a worried voice. "Ah yes sensei, you being alive right now and at your side is more than enough for me." There was a tear in her eye, but she seemed happy. A.N. This the sample illustration. Credit to the original owner. I pat her head and smiled at her. She had been through endless time loop just to save me. This girl, she really loves me. We then kissed each other for 5 minutes straight. As we finished kissing and there was a string of saliva coming from our mouths, Chloe then put her head on my lap, then I stroked it. After few minutes she fell asleep. I then princess carried her to the couche and let her sleep. I then continued my paperwork. Chloe was teaching at Tempest Academy, then a year later became the headmaster of Tempest Institute of Human Resources Development Academy. Tempest Academy focuses more on elementary education for kids. It has preschool, kindergarten and elementary. Once they graduate from Tempest Academy, they enter to Tempest Institute of Human Resources Development Academy, where it focuses middle school, high school and college. It offers variety of education ranging from cooking, enhanced reading and writing, manners and many more. I later found out that the reason Chloe doesn't want to get married was simply because she doesn't want to stop teaching the kids, and also the position as the second chancellors. Well, I respect her decision, so I didn't push her. But we love each other, that is the truth. Now that I gave you another brief story about Milim and Chloe, let's go back to the present. After I ate Shuna's homemade hamburger and drank the tea, I was again resumed on doing the never-ending paperwork. I then got a thought communication from Testarossa. "Less than Okawa-sama, I'm already here at the said continent you specifically said." Greater than Testa calmly said. "Less than okay. Got it. Ah Testa." Greater than I said as I remembered something that I forgot to tell her earlier. "Less than yes Okawa-sama." Greater than less than investige, what are the civilization in there? Report to me all the details you can find. Greater than I ordered. "Less than it shall be done Okawa-sama." Greater than Testa said in response and stopped the thought communication. I wonder what new civilization that awaits in that new world that had appeared near the barren lands. I think of it as I continue signing the documents. Third Pav. It was a usual peaceful day at Japan. At that day it was summer comiket. A certain second lieutenant of Japan's self-defense forces was here for the summer comiket, not as the usual second lieutenant but as a otaku. He was riding a train looking for the update of his favorite manga. It was called May Come. Moments later the train arrived at Ginza station. Atami, who was focused on his phone, later got hit by the pillar of the building. When he laid down he saw a short scene of an elf. A mage who seemed to be around 15 years old, and a gothic dress lowly who had to be seems a giant battle axe-like weapon. Then a man came and helped him, making Atami comes back to his senses. Atami then continued walking towards the venue when he saw a flying wyvern outside. At first he rubbed his eyes to check if what he was seeing right now was real or not. When Atami realizes it was real, he rushed outside of the station and starting to lead the people to the palace. Shit. If this continues, the summer comiket will be cancelled, was his thoughts on this, so he earnestly helped the civilians to safety. While Atami was searching for other civilians left at the area, he saw a police officer nervously shooting an wyvern. But then a soldier who was wearing the ancient Romans military uniform landed near him. When that soldier saw him, he got up to attack the scared police officer, but Atami intervened and saved the police officer by killing the unknown soldier using his own weapon in his waist. After stabbing the unknown soldier to the neck, which killed him, Atami let go of the dagger and approached the shocked and scared police officer. "Are you all right?" Atami asked while he offered his hand. Hi.
Thank you. The police officer nervously replied to Atami as he took the hand and stood up.
With thousands of crowds outside of the palace, some begged for be let inside the palace as it was dangerous for them. Most was feeling fear and sorrow as they saw their loved ones, friends, and other people getting slaughtered. Atami then arrived and saw the situation. He then went straight into a police box that was guarding the palace door. Atami Pav. I went to the police box to convince them let the people in, but they refused, saying that they didn't get any permission from inside the palace. Who are you anyway? An officer asked me. I am Atami Yuji from the SDF, second lieutenant. I see, but sir, we didn't receive any approval to let the civilians inside the palace yet. Then a sudden call was made from the telephone. Another policeman answered. Sir, it's a go to let the people in, the young policeman said. Did they finally give the permission? I asked just to make sure. Hi. It is the safety of our civilians that is our top priority as of now. They also said that the Special Assault Team are on their way. A.N. Special Assault Team or SAT is a Japanese special police that focuses on assault operations. Basically it is equivalent of SWAT in other countries. I nodded and left the police box. They opened the large gate of the palace and let the civilians come in. Come in, please do not rush, a policeman said as he guides the incoming civilians. While I was looking around, I found a little girl crying alone. Are you lost? I asked her while I smiled. The girl said as she looks at me cautiously. I then offered my hand to her. Leader of the enemy raid, Reminisce Pav. What is this place? It is far from our empire. There are structures that are very high. Good thing it was made out of brick and mortar. At least it is similar coming to the new world. General, is there something wrong? My second in command asked me. Did you notice anything? I asked. Notice what, General? He seemed puzzled. Despite they have these large and high structures, I am still relieved that it was made from brick and mortar. It is good that they use similar materials from our world. Atami Pav. In the end the girl trusted me and looked together to find where are her parents or guardian. One reached to us and claimed to be her guardian. When the little girl nods, it means that it must be true that this person is her guardian. After separating from the little girl, I went to the SAT position that is defending the palace gates. I went into a SAT member who seems to be the inspector. What is the current status of the situation? I asked in a serious tone. Eda. We are currently tasked to hold this gate from an enemy cavalry attack. The inspector of the SAT squad answered. Does the Ministry of Defense already know about the situation? Hi. 5 GSDF helicopters from Ichigaya are en route, and the 1st Infantry Regiment from Narima are also en route. In the skies of Tokyo, the aforementioned helicopters, Ground Self-Defense Forces AH-1S Cobras engaged at the enemy Wyvern, tearing them apart with 20mm Gatling cannons. Meanwhile, in Tokyo streets, the SDF personnel shows how effective modern small arms are against swords and shields. While the SAT and policemen disperses the enemy before them with tear gas as the effective weapon to capture them alive. After the battle in Ginza, Atami was rewarded by the Ministry of Defense for his bravery and selflessness act on saving, evacuating and the defense of the civilians. Atami came to the stage and received the reward and was promoted into first lieutenant. Atami was heartbroken when he remembered that the summer comiket was cancelled due to the incident anyway. In the intervening months, Atami was coping with his newfound fame from the incident. In there he met his otaku friend Kurata, a fellow ground self-defense force soldier from Camp Naoro. Kurata mentioned that he was there at the doujinshi sale on the day of the attack, but unlike his superior Atami, he couldn't do anything about the incident on that day. New uniforms for the SDF troops who were going to the special region was now given. Atami, Kurata and the soon 3rd Recon Team will be part of the newly created Special Task Force.
Then 3 months had passed since the unknown enemy from the mysterious gate attacked. The self-defense forces had gathered in front of the gate. The operation was now possible thanks to approval from the Diet and with the support of President Darrell of the United States of America.
N. Diet is the term for Japan's parliament. Now the new Prime Minister Motoi Shinzo sends troops to the other side of the gate. This was possible because of the parliament that Diet passed when the former Prime Minister Hojo Shigenori requested for Diet to approve the bill. The one who was appointed as the overall commander of the Special Region Task Force was Lieutenant General Hamaza Kuchiru.
After a short speech was made from the overall commander, the SDF began entering the gate. The first ones to enter were the tanks. The tanks consist of Type 9 and Type 10 tanks. Then behind the tanks are the Type 87 Armored Reconnaissance Vehicle, Type 96 Armored Personnel Carrier, Special Terrain Type 74, Type 73 Medium Truck, Toyota High Mobility Vehicle, Type 70 Self-Propelled Floating Bridge, TPE 75,155mm Self-Propelled Howitzer, and Honda XLR 250R Reconnaissance Motorcycle.
As they reached the end of the gate, the tanks are already in position for a possible enemy attack. When the rest of SDF has already arrived at the other side of the gate, it was still nighttime to the special region. The tanks got into position to protect the position and to scout the incoming enemy attack. When the armored personnel carrier had arrived, the SDF troops disembarked from the carrier to get into their positions. It was already almost morning, so there was a bit of sunlight shining, and to the excitement of some of the SDF soldiers, the enemy was waiting for them to arrive.
Little did they know a certain someone was observing them from afar, hiding her presence. She smiles as if this is going to be interesting to report for her mother.